Am I the a-hole for telling my husband he doesn't get to decide what I do with my body? I have been married to my husband for about 5 years. Overall, we have a good relationship, but lately we've been clashing over something that, to me, feels like common sense: my body equals my decision. The most recent fight started when I mentioned possibly getting on birth control again. He immediately jumped in saying he didn't like how it changes my hormones and that he'd prefer I just stay off it. I told him that I respect his opinion, but at the end of the day, I'm the one dealing with the side effects of not being on anything. He doesn't get the cramps, the stress, the "oh no, is this a pregnancy scare?" anxiety. When I said, "Look, it's my body, and I'm the one who has to manage it, not you," he got really defensive and accused me of not caring about his feelings. To be clear, I do care. He's my husband, I listen to him. But I also feel like it's unfair for him to think he gets a final vote on decisions that literally affect my health. For context, this isn't just about birth control. He's also made comments before when I cut my hair short or when I considered getting a small tattoo. Nothing extreme, but enough that I'm noticing a pattern. I told him flat out, "You don't have the right to tell me what to do with my body." He said that was disrespectful. Now I'm wondering if I was too blunt, or if I just set a boundary that needed to be set. So, am I the a-hole for standing my ground? Am I the a-hole for leaving my friend stranded at a wedding because she was treating me like a free chauffeur? Last weekend, I went to a wedding 2 towns over. I was invited, and so was my friend Sam. She doesn't drive, and she asked if I could give her a ride there and back. I said yes, no problem. I was driving solo anyway. The wedding was beautiful, but here's where things started going sideways. As soon as we got there, Sam disappeared into the crowd and didn't talk to me once. That's fine, people socialize, but she didn't check in, didn't introduce me to anyone, and basically acted like we weren't even there together. When the ceremony ended and people started moving to the reception, I texted her to let her know I'd grabbed a table for us. No response. I sat alone while she was off chatting, drinking, laughing with others. At one point I saw her taking selfies with people I didn't know, all while I was just invisible. By 11 p.m., I was tired and ready to leave. I texted her and got no reply. I waited another 30 minutes, then texted again, "Hey, I'm heading out in 10. Nothing. I walked around the venue trying to find her, but it was packed, and honestly, I was done feeling like her unpaid Uber driver. So I left. I got home a little after midnight and finally saw a text from her at 12:45 a.m., "Hey, where are you?" I didn't reply. In the morning, she called me furious, saying I stranded her, that she had to beg another guest for a ride, and that I was heartless. I calmly told her that I wasn't her babysitter and that it's basic courtesy to check in with the person who brought you, especially when you rely on them to get home. She said I overreacted and that I was punishing her for having fun. Now some mutual friends are saying I could have waited or found her before leaving. One said, "You did agree to take her both ways." I feel like she used me once she got the ride. I was disposable. So, am I the a-hole for leaving without her after she ignored me all night? Comment 1. Not the a-hole, champ. She treated you like a free taxi, not cool. She should have shown some base level respect. You ain't her chauffeur. Honestly, I'd have dipped out too. You deserve better. Comment 2. You're the a-hole. How many people were at the wedding? 2,000? You could have physically located her and told her you were leaving with or without her. You chose to only communicate by text. At a wedding, where people have their phones in their purses while dancing or eating. Comment below what you think. Do you think she was in the wrong? My best friend is furious I didn't choose her as maid of honor. Now she's threatening to skip my wedding. Am I the a-hole? I, 27F, am getting married in December, and I recently asked my cousin, 29F, to be my maid of honor. She's basically my sister, we grew up together, and she's been there for me through every major life event. The problem is my best friend Lily, 28F. We've been close for over 10 years, and when I announced my engagement, she assumed she'd automatically be my maid of honor. When I told her I'd chosen my cousin instead, she completely lost it. Lily accused me of betraying her and said I owed her the title because she's been by my side longer than anyone. She even posted a passive-aggressive rant on Instagram about fake friends who use you when it's convenient. Since then, she's been distant and cold. Last week, she told me outright that if she's not the maid of honor, she won't come to the wedding at all because it would be too painful to watch someone else take her place. I'm honestly heartbroken because I always imagined Lily being part of my big day. But I also feel like this is my wedding, and I should be able to choose whoever I want for the role without being guilt-tripped. My fiancé thinks Lily is overreacting and says we should just let her sit with her feelings. My mom, on the other hand, thinks I should fix things because losing a friend over this isn't worth it. So, am I the a-hole for not choosing my best friend as my maid of honor and refusing to change my mind? Comment 1. Anyone who blackmails you isn't a friend. You do have the right to choose who should be MOH. Did you ask her to be a bridesmaid? Does she feel it's beneath her? Not the a-hole. Comment 2. I think your cousin has her beat by about 17 years if that's her measure. Her actions don't say great friend though. Comment 3. It's not a big deal. Don't give in to her tantrum. You made your choice. She was only your best friend as long as things go her way. Not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for not wearing the gifts my husband bought me after he reminded me it's his money? So my husband and I have been married for a few years now. He's generally a good guy, but recently he's been making these little comments that rub me the wrong way. For example, he's bought me some nice things in the past like a necklace, a bag, and even a pair of shoes. Nothing crazy designer, but still thoughtful. I wore them proudly because they were gifts from him. But then the other day during a small disagreement about bills, he randomly said something like, "Well, it's my money that paid for all your stuff anyway." That stung. To me, a gift is supposed to be a gift. Not something I feel I have to owe him for later. So, out of spite, maybe petty, I'll admit, I stopped wearing and using the things he bought me. Instead, I've just been going back to my old stuff or using things I purchased myself. He noticed pretty quickly and asked why I don't wear the necklace anymore. I told him, because you made it sound like it isn't really mine. He got defensive and said I was overreacting, and that he only said it because he was frustrated about money in that moment. Now he thinks I'm being dramatic and purposely trying to hurt his feelings by rejecting his gifts. I feel like I'm just setting a boundary. I don't want to use things that are going to be thrown back in my face later. So, am I the a-hole for not wearing/using the gifts he gave me after he reminded me they were bought with his money? Comment 1. You have bigger issues at play here. Of course it's not his money, it's yours too. Therapy is recommended. Make sure you both like the therapist. That's important. Comment 2. Not the a-hole for refusing to use gifts when the giver threw the purchase in your face. But you might be the a-hole to yourself by staying married to a man that thinks his money belongs to only him. What does he even think marriage is? Comment below, do you think she is the a-hole?